So in today's video, I met up with one of my subscribers. This is not just any old subscriber, this is Hayes. Hayes for the past 6 months has either won or was a runner-up in all of my competitions. I have been sending Hayes loops for months and he has been knocking every single one of them out of the park. Like, listen to this. To be honest, I was thinking about giving him my channel and just calling it a day. This guy is so good at what he does. So I have decided to go and meet Hayes to see what he's about, and we'll also be breaking down our new track called Take Me Home. The only problem is Hayes lives in Scotland. That's roughly 300 miles from where I live, so best grab Evan the producer and get going.
Well, it wasn't easy. We finally made it.
Okay, so I've linked up with one of my subscribers, Hayes, a very, very talented producer.
I've been spread like 1-2 years. One of the main reasons was that you are doing like multiple genres. You weren't just doing hip hop primarily, you were doing EDM and such and that. So that's why I subscribed in the first place. 5 years, but I started doing beats for 2-3 years, but I just switched because I was like sick of it. Might be a little biased, but I love Serum.
Yeah.
Before I used to, it was Vital, but now I mostly use Serum now.
So first of all, you sent me over, what did you send me over now? You sent me over a vocal. Yeah, just 1 second, Dicko. I will take it from here. This is exactly what Hayes sent me. This is the folder. Had a couple of midis in it and it had the vocals as well.
I've waited long enough for someone just like you.
So what I first did is just threw it all into Ableton. I think I made the chord progression myself. I don't think he sent me one. I think he just sent me a bass MIDI, I believe. So this is what I sent back to Hayes.
I've waited long enough for someone just like you to come along and make me feel the way you do. Something about the way you walk into a room, you make it come to life. Can I make you mine? I've waited long enough for someone just like you to come along and make me feel the way you do. Something about the way you walk into a room, you make it come to life. Can I make you mine?
So that was essentially what I sent back to Hayes. Let's head back to Scotland.
So yeah, immediately it felt like something we hear on the radio usually. So I decided to flip that. So why not we just start with the bass right now. Since the intro's kind of like soft and kind of smooth, I want to have a better contrast before it goes to the drop.
I noticed you use like a lot of samples and loops as well as plugins in your like tracks.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference, plugins or samples, or just wherever you can get the best sounds
It
from?
depends on the track. If I'm making like a trail kind of track or orchestral, I would use little contact rather than loops because I want more control. So yeah, let's go to the melody elements. So that's just to fill up the background. And we've got this kind of flute. So to get everything like this. We've got a riser as well. So let's try here all together. Then we've got some effects here. Then we've got a down lifter. I think that was from you, right? The down lifter.
Yeah,
It was, yeah. So. It sounded already good, so I just layered it pretty much. So all together, it should sound like this.
So I think you're pretty talented at collecting samples from different places and making them seem like they go perfectly. Do you know what I mean?
I was just about to say that. Do you know, making melodies is one skill.
Yeah.
Using samples is a totally different skill.
Yeah, because he uses a lot of samples, but you wouldn't think that's from separate packs or from anywhere else.
It sounds like one sample that does.
Yeah.
Even though there's 20 or 30 different bits.
Let's go to the fills. It's a very short fill, but we'll just go over it. We got a drum fill here and a reverse effect. So all together.
Sorry to interrupt the video here, but if you do make awesome music like Hayes and you want me to come and visit you in your hometown, drop a like on this video and a comment as well, telling me the music you make and where you're from. And who knows, maybe I'll be stopping by a studio near you.
Let's go to the drop.
So was that from the original vocal? Was that a
Yeah,
different
it
song?
was from the original vocal. I just chopped it up pretty much. So yeah, guys, I use OTT. I know it's used for compression, but I just use it as an effect just to make the vocal kind of louder since the original vocal was kind of quiet. Next, we've got Camel Crusher. It's like a distortion kind of plugin. I know you don't usually use it on vocals, but I just used it slightly just to beef it up a bit. So let's go to the bass now. See the second layer. The third layer. The fourth layer. Then we got a top bass layer. So altogether it should sound like this.
So why so many layers?
For this one, this is mostly like a sub layer because I want to fill that low end. The rest is just like for lows, mids, and that just to make it a bit more thicker, the sound. So yeah, I did saturation, which is pretty much, it adds warmth to the sound, and it adds some harmonics as well. Reverb, not much because you don't want too much reverb on your bass, or it just sound too muddy.
You might divide people in the comments with the reverb on the bass.
Reverb on the bass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So I've got a sidechain, which is TFU. I know Kickstart is like the standard, but I don't have that obviously, so I use that. We've got the drums now. That's the kicks, very standard. And we've got our hi-hats. So all together it should sound like this. Let's go to our other elements of the second half of the drop. We've got this vocal. So that just sits in the back in the mix just to fill it up a bit. It's not that complex of a drop, it's just bass, drums, vocals, that's it.
So massive shouts out to Hayes for hooking up and making this video. If you do want to stream Take Me Home, I'll leave that in the description below. Also a massive thanks to Eric the producer for coming along for the journey. We've actually made another video of us in the studio in Scotland for my second channel. So make sure you go over and subscribe to that channel here for when that drops. Be safe, be productive, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one.